Senator Kevin Cramer joins us right now, Republican of North Dakota. Senator, thank you for taking the time. The president is going to outline, from everything we could tell, a more aggressive testing regimen here for all the states, billions of dollars worth to satisfy potentially his fiercest of critics there that say the federal government has not done enough. Do you think this goes a long way toward resolving that, or that it could take a while?
Well, Neil, first of all, I mean, the United States has provided more testing than any country. The problem is that we have a much larger country, larger population, much larger economy to keep afloat. Clearly, testing is critical to reopening, the economy, but that's because it's critical to creating the type of confidence that people need to go to work, to open their places of business, and that confidence, I believe, is what's necessary, to take this next step and go the distance, if you will, in growing our economy back.
Do you know, Senator, of any plans in case there are cases that suddenly spike, as there have been out of the blue in some European countries? We've seen this certainly happen in India and Russia, that it disrupts plans to ease restrictions and the rest. Is there a number or issues they're looking at which point they would say, all right, we got to slow down here?
Sure. So I think, Neil, just as we've gotten to this point with cooperative federalism, where the president has provided the guidelines that come from his task force, then I think it's appropriate as well as we reopen that governors and especially governors, but consulting with mayors and others, make those decisions based on what's happening on the ground in their place. I mean, in Bismarck, North Dakota, they did 620 tests last weekend. 6 people that didn't have any symptoms were the only ones that tested positive. So Bismarck is clearly different than Minneapolis, which is clearly different than New York. And I think that we need to continue to localize the response, because we can't simply shut down the entire economy, leave it shut down, while there are many places in our country that are prepared to go back to work and grow the economy.
There are all sorts of statistical models used, and it seems like a very crass, if not macabre, way to figure out the numbers. So when I hear, we're over 80,000 deaths in this country, and some models have it climbing 130 to 140,000, what do you think of that?
Well, it's concerning for sure, but Neil, we could outlaw driving and save 40,000 people's lives every year from traffic accidents. We could outlaw alcohol and save 80,000 Americans' lives, because that's how many alcohol-related deaths there are in this country. And so every death is a tragedy, every life is worth saving, but part of saving the life is having an economy that not only provides a job and the revenue stream for families, but oftentimes their health insurance provides them the opportunity to have other safer vehicles, safer homes. So it's not a single thing. The economy is very dynamic. It is an important part of our mental health, our confidence. So I think we have to look at it all in the whole, and not as an isolated disease. Granted, it is different than other things. Granted, it is contagious and highly infectious, but it shouldn't scare us out of living our lives, and that's what I'm afraid it's done.
Senator, there's been talk, and I don't know if it'll be mentioned here in the president's remarks on testing today. I'm running a few minutes behind schedule, by the way, as people at home are watching the Rose Garden right now. But talk is still more stimulus. Democrats are coming up with their own plan, presumably in the House, even though the House has yet to get back. But almost universally, not across the board, Senator, most seem to be poo-pooing the president's idea of a payroll tax cut. He thinks that would be fairly immediate, would offer help just when we need it. Where are you on the payroll tax cut issue?
So I've always liked the idea of a payroll tax holiday of some sort in a situation like this, because it is, in my view, one of the most equitable ways to stimulate, because it has an equal, of course, benefit to the employer as it does to the employee. There's already a system set up, that collects the payroll tax that could just as easily not collect it or collect less of it. You don't have to create a bureaucracy to distribute it. The protection program facility, and we used the SBA, but still it's still a work in progress even as the money's been distributed. Same with the other credit facilities that the Federal Reserve is utilizing some that exist, creating new ones. So the payroll tax holiday or tax cut, I've always kind of liked. Now, of course, we have to have a larger discussion about debt and deficit, and that means you have to have a discussion about the mandatory side of the spending ledger, and unfortunately, the payroll tax is what collects the revenue specifically for some of that. But none of this is going to go without a much broader, more serious family discussion about the necessary, I'll say that, necessary debt that we're adding as a result of this recovery. But we also don't need to continue to be reckless and foolish when we haven't even seen most of the money distributed or certainly put into the economy as yet. And by that I mean the money that's already been appropriated by Congress. So I'm not in a hurry to do the next package. I think we ought to continue to work with the package that's already out there.
Senator Cramer, thank you very, very much.